Hi everyone, I'm Phil Sutcliffe. I'm managing partner at Next Intelligence. We're the company behind Inca, the conversational survey platform that's designed to deliver much better, more engaging experiences for survey participants and to deliver deeper insights for researchers.
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Seltzer. I'm the CTO at Next Intelligence. I'm also our data protection officer and I lead up our AI R&D. And I have several publications related to large language models and computer vision and everything related to AI.
Now, if we start off thinking about some of the issues around data quality, there was a paper that was published recently by the Associate Professor of Government at Dartmouth in the US, Sean Westwood. Now, Mr. Westwood created an AI tool, what he called an autonomous synthetic respondent, which I'm going to read what he said in a summary he put out from from what he did. He said he created the autonomous synthetic respondent can answer survey questions and demonstrated a near flawless ability to bypass the full range of state-of-the-art methods for detecting bots. According to the paper he wrote, the AI agent he created evaded detection 99.8% of the time, and he concluded we can no longer trust that survey responses are coming from real people. With survey data tainted by bots, AI can poison the entire knowledge ecosystem. And he described this as an existential threat to survey research. Now, given that's what we do, given that's what no doubt a lot of the people watching do, that sounds pretty frightening. But Josh, I know you weren't surprised by the findings of the paper. Can you tell me why?
Yeah, so first of all, frankly, I'm a bit surprised it's taken market researchers so long to catch on to the fact that it's quite easy for AI agents to appear convincingly human. I think one of the findings from this paper wasn't just that, agents can do this so effectively, but it also doesn't take that much effort. And it's no secret that large language models are trained specifically to reproduce human language based on huge amounts of data. So generating answers which sound plausibly human is actually pretty trivial. In addition, it's pretty common knowledge these days that behavioral checks, such as reCAPTCHA or clicking behavior or mouse movement, really just aren't that robust. And you can think of it this way. Most of these rely on pretty simple statistical patterns of digital signals. And that's precisely what machine learning models are really good at rigorously reproducing.
But there's a number of products out there being marketed to market researchers that claim to be able to detect bot responses. Are you saying those claims are false or maybe at least exaggerated?
By and large, yes. So these products all rely on digital pattern recognition. And there's pretty much every reason to think that AI fraud is extremely good at mimicking human digital patterns. If we really want to determine if someone is human, there are relatively simple things that can be done, but it requires due diligence and sometimes human ingenuity. So, for example, if you talk to a human in person and then compare what they say versus how they're actually answering surveys over time, it's pretty easy to see if they're largely consistent. For example, if you know you're supposed to be talking with, let's say, a 60-year-old healthcare practitioner, but then you're getting responses that are clearly something a millennial would say and they don't really demonstrate appropriate medical expertise, then that's a pretty good reason to suspect that they're not who they say that they are. Even that might not be totally foolproof, but it would be a lot more difficult for fraudsters to manipulate this in an economical way versus the current methods that are being offered.
Okay, so that there are things that can be done, but it's going much too far to sort of claim that any software data quality checking system can 100% or even close to 100% weed out AI bot answers in market research.
Yeah, to the extent that they're looking largely at digital patterns, the short answer is yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
really, the first question that you should ask of all of these products is how are they even reliably verifying their AI detection methods? So some of the claims that I've seen are benchmarking their detection against open source methods, like the one that you mentioned earlier that was released open source. But this is a very, very low bar and really trivial to manipulate. By definition, since it's open source, you can just run those agents yourself. These companies could easily iterate their detection methods to ensure that it specifically detects the particular limitations or idiosyncrasies of these methods, of these particular methods. But that doesn't really provide any rigorous evidence that other methods, black box methods that they don't have access to, and which are actually being used by sophisticated fraudsters, that those are detectable. So anyone that's claiming that they can detect 100% of AI agents, in my opinion, they're lying to you and probably to themselves as well. And if we were to consider the large incentives that fraudsters have to invest in these relatively simple black box methods that are now very easy and economical to leverage at scale, there's pretty much every reason to believe that's exactly what's happening. And so if you're just looking at digital signals, so things like behavioral and linguistic signals that you're looking at without any high context or real world verification, then there's really no principled reason to believe that you're not being pretty easily fooled by AI.
It's interesting because, it feels to me like the market research ecosystem is asking the right questions about data quality and fraud, and understandably people are worried when they see 20-30% or even more of survey responses seeming like they're not from real people, and potentially that number could get a lot higher with the advances in AI. But it seems to me like as an industry, a lot of people are trying to find easy answers to problems and believing that technology can be the answer to the problem. But actually, from what you've said, it seems like actually that's just creating an arms race with every advance in terms of technology designed to try and detect bots. The people who are creating the bots are going to be there with a response, and oftentimes kind of one step ahead. And it seems like really that's not the answer to the problem we should be looking for. The answer to the problem should be about making sure that we've got real verified people taking surveys in the first place. And that's problem with that is it's going to require a break from the norm that the industry's got used to of having very cheap, readily available sample. Panel companies are going to have to invest to make sure we have got 100% verified participants. And there's a commercial risk that comes if one invests and the others don't. There's a commercial risk that comes from that being more expensive. But ultimately, I kind of feel that's what's going to need to happen. That panel companies are going to need to invest to make that happen. But crucially, I'm not pointing a finger at panel companies. They will provide the product that people are willing to pay for. Market research clients need to be prepared to pay for it.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And yeah, I think the industry has dug itself into a bit of a hole by, chasing the cheapest price without maybe realizing just how cheap the usage of AI and the ability to effectively mimic real humans was going to get. So yeah, that has to be the first step, is getting real verified people to take surveys.